Hey guys, today we're gonna install the Cybercharger phone charger from Ciro, and we're gonna go through the process together. I already opened this box before, did the unboxing, but while I'm waiting for all the parts for this thing to get painted, I haven't ridden my bike in a while. I figured I'll just continuously just do my installs, all right? So this is important. You have to be able to get this under your tank so you can connect this to your batteries. And you also have a fuse. Let me see if we can open this. So my hand is a little messed up, man. Can't open it. That's not gonna allow me to do that. Then we get the instruction manual, which is fairly simple. That's not difficult. We have the base, the charger base. They give us the screws. I'm gonna install the top first. That's the easiest part. And then route the wires. So with the screws, you have these short ones, long ones, and some spacers. We know that for the Road Glide, we're not using the short ones. So that's out of here. So we have that. We got this piece right here and the instructions. Now let's see how detailed the instructions are. All right, so it's showing us about the perch, how to connect the perch. And yeah, let's just do that and get it out the way first. So remember, cover your tank. So what I'm gonna do, so that way I don't have to worry about this falling, I'm just gonna take off one screw and I'm gonna put a replacement screw here, and we're gonna use some thread lock as well. All right. Ooh, man, my hands is messed up, man. All right, so get some thread lock up here. Gonna grab the perch. Make sure you have this in the proper direction. And push that through, put that in, and then we're gonna simply replace that screw. Now I'm gonna make sure I have a thread, make sure I have it grabbed, that way it's not gonna fall when I take out the other one. That's the reason why I'm doing it this way, see it? So now that's out, or should I say that's in. I'm gonna do the same thing for this one. Now I don't have to worry about it falling. See it? Because sometimes if you're not paying attention, like I said, that thing will fall and smack your tank up. And then you won't be a happy person. You'll be an unhappy person. All right, we don't need unhappy people. We need good, happy people, good people. All right, there we go. So that same thing, this is gonna go behind it. This should be perfect. There we go. Slide that in. And then we're gonna tighten this down. So we're taking out this first. Remember, this has to go on, it's gonna go this way, right? So you wanna put this on this way. And you take your phone holder, put it down like this, pop it in. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna eventually take this down and put the phone holder up to the top. I'm just putting it on for now until I ride the bike and see what feels better. And you could make the adjustment angles here, whatever you want to do, and you just lock that in. So that's pretty much what that looks like. I see a lot of guys still take the phone and put it to the top. Like I said, I don't know what I feel comfortable doing yet until I'm riding, and I'll see if this is good enough for me or if I still want my phone holder back down here to where I'll just use the phone clamps. And that's it. All right, now let's run these wires. There we go, that cracked. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. there's 2 bolts here as well. I already have one removed from one of my older jobs, so I have that already out. So we're gonna take that off. Perfect. There we go. All right, so being that we're gonna take the whole tank off, you don't have to take this off, all right? We just loosen this up. As a matter of fact, I didn't even think I had to take this off either. But then again, I did. Okay, so we got those off. Now, on the other side, there's a little notch here. I'm gonna push up and we're gonna release. Let me get a piece of rag. There we go. Just to catch any excess grease that might be coming out. All right, so that's it. So all I'm gonna do with the tank, I don't know what I could do with my hands, guys, but you could, if you're gonna take the tank all the way off, you're gonna take this stuff and you're gonna unplug this stuff here too. Man, I'm working crippled. Here we go. Now you can take the tank all the way off, or you can just pull the tank back, depending on what you want to do and how you want to run your wires. But we need to get access to the batteries. There we go. Okay, so now we got full access to this. And while you're at it, you can get something to wipe this down. Just take off all the extra dirt. I mean, for any chance you get. So that's how you take your tank off, okay? You get to see the bike naked. So now that we got the tank off, we're gonna run the wire. And this wire needs to just be in here, connecting to the red and the black. So how you run the wire is really up to you. Just make sure it's snugged. So I'm gonna find some spaces that I can snug this in comfortably. It's a thin wire, so you can remove certain things out the way just to access the little route. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just picking this up. I'm gonna push it under. That way I know that it's snugged, because you wanna get it snugged. These are pretty flexible. Just pick it up, lock it under, and just make sure once again that you have enough slack to get your wires ran there. And I'm gonna do this again here. See it? Just running it. And you see how this is zip tied? You can do the same thing. You can zip tie it there, which I'm gonna do the same thing. Now, do I have enough room for this to lock in? Yes, I do. I'm gonna push this all the way back. See it? That way it's not in the way. So like I said, I'm gonna zip tie. Wherever I see zip ties, I'm gonna zip tie as well, okay? Just locking it in place, because that's what you wanna do. That's pretty much what you're aiming to do. And snip that. Once again, make sure you have enough length. You can still pull it though, but just make sure you have enough length. I'm gonna do the same thing right about here. I'm gonna zip tie it this way. Always keep zip tie around different sizes, okay? Different width, different lengths, always. You never know when you're gonna need some zip ties. For this install, that's a must. You definitely need zip ties for this install. That's a must, all right? So we're gonna get that snipped. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna drop it down a bit, and then we're gonna finish this up, button this up, and then access the batteries and connect all of this stuff. Now keep in mind, anytime you're working with the batteries and you're disengaging the batteries, you have to take out this fuse, okay? This 50 amp fuse right here, you want that out. That way you don't have to worry about anything going wrong as you're doing your installs. Just remove those two. You want to get this out. And if you want to, you can pop this up and get this out the way also, okay? But I like to take this out the way because this just gives me more freedom, more access to this, because that's what we need. Now remember, the battery, the bike has no power because we already removed that fuse. There we go. Now you don't have to unloosen this all the way, just enough to where you can slide that in and screw it back down. So this is just gonna connect, and everything is colored, so you can't go wrong with that. All right, black, red is for positive, black is the negative side. So that's connected. Now your battery, make sure you really tighten this down. You don't wanna make it loose to where your terminals can just get loose and then the bike have issues starting. All right, so now that's in. Make sure this is not in the way to get pinched, nothing like that. So we're good to go there. We're gonna button all this back up. This, remember how we took this off, okay? Right here, goes this way, and this is gonna nest on top. You're gonna put this right back in its nest. It snaps right back in its place. Nothing complicated. Get these back in. That's it. We're done with that, right? So we have the cables right here. So I'm gonna find my route and where I wanna run it. So I'm looking for this little opening coming up behind the bar. Taking my time just to get that grab. Pull it up. Remember, this is gonna be hidden under the tank, so nobody's gonna see it. And once you find the length on where you want it, you can wrap this up, because I'm gonna zip tie it to the cable here, see, to the brake line, and then we're gonna connect it. So now, when we're gonna zip tie it, just to have the connection here, but you wanna make sure you have some slack on your line. That way your line, you have some space. I'm gonna stop to think for a second if I want this thing on the top or on the bottom. When I'm riding the bike, do I feel more comfortable having that phone lock on the top above me or below? I'm running that the same way the brake line is running, same exact route. And this is the last zip tie. All right, that's it. So what I'm gonna do with the phone is I'm gonna plug that charger back in, and we're gonna see if the phone charges. Well, not the charger back in, the fuse. Okay, so one of the things to be mindful of, I plugged everything up, everything is on good. When I put the phone on, I'm like, wait a minute, it's not charging. So I checked the fuse, and this fuse is blown. It's a 4 amp fuse. So I don't know how it blew, but I'm gonna replace the fuse. I'm gonna have to go and buy it, then come back, do a test run. Also, make sure your fuse line here is accessible when you have your batteries, when you cover this back up, all right? So I have to take this back out and pull my fuse back out. So just remember, make sure the fuse line is accessible the same way I have this accessible for my heat gear. All right, so I'll be back in a sec. All right, so the install is done. I'm gonna leave the tank off the bike. The only reason why I'm gonna leave the tank off the bike is because I'm not gonna be using that tank anymore. But just for the recap, as you guys see, I ran the wire, got the batteries connected, ran the cables all the way up through here. So now the only thing left to do is to see if this thing actually charges. And I also took the connector and put it to the top instead of to the bottom. Cause remember I was saying I don't know if I'm gonna do the bottom or the top, but I actually like the bottom. This piece here, if you wanna adjust it, you squeeze and pull it down. This will come down to adjust the height. See, it comes down by little snaps, little grooves, but I just like it up, so I'm pushing it all the way up. And that way I know it's good. There's a screw back there that you can tighten that screw up. But here's the real test. Let's see if this is gonna actually charge or not. So you put this in, hold on. Okay, so boom. Can you see it? It's charging. See that little green? And the bike is not on. I don't have to turn the bike on. I know before you had to put the bike on for it to charge, but I could plug this up. My bike doesn't have to waste any batteries, nothing like that, and it's still charging. Can you see that? I don't know if you could see it. Let me come in a little closer. Yeah, there you go. You see that? So that I'm happy about. There's a knob here that you just turn this until it touches, and then you squeeze it in and it will lock the phone in place, right? You see where this thing came on? If this is too low, it's gonna hit the buttons. So that's why I like my thing up higher, so it doesn't hit the button. That way when I lock it in, it's not squeezing against anything. You know, but that's the tricky part, is getting that height set up properly. But if it doesn't sit on the rest point, it's okay. If I bring it down lower, and let's say I wanted to rest on here, then I'll just squeeze it here. I won't make it too tight to it's pressing the button, and the phone still won't go anywhere. Okay, so one of the things, if this happens on your install, right? Let's say you have your phone locked in, you lock it in, but you notice that this is just wobbling all over the place like this, and this is tight. There is a bolt right here, and you just lock this bolt in, look. And when you tighten this bolt, then all of that wobbling is gone, it's stabilized, all right? So just in case you don't know, just tighten that down, and that's it, all right? That's a 5/32 attachment, hex head, and I push in and I squeeze that thing. I turn that thing, it ain't going nowhere. And that's just if you have those issues. It's perfect. The install was easy, pretty simple, nothing complicated at all. I think this looks really clean. When I add that on here with the cup holder, this cup holder is fantastic. As a matter of fact, let me show you why I like it a lot. Hold on a second. The cup holder, this is my Sensei Yeti cup. It holds that perfectly. But I am gonna find a cup that I'm gonna powder coat to match the actual bike. You know I can't have this type of orange, right? Has to match the bike. But guys, there's a link in the description. Feel free to head on over to Ciro, get the parts that you need. I'm gonna put that link there. Order your stuff today. Don't wait. Right now is the time to just get after it, get it done. All right, I'm out. Don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe. I know a lot of you guys have not been giving these videos enough props, but who knows, later down the line, you might come back and learn how to do all this install. This bike looks crazy. I'm out.